Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the literal roots of our food, agricultural crops production. We're going to start by zooming way out to look at some massive global data, and then we'll zoom right back in to focus on the daily life of the individual farm worker. It's a fascinating journey, so let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. 690 million. According to a 2020 FAO report on food security and nutrition, that is the staggering number of people worldwide who go hungry. I mean, to put that into perspective, that's roughly 8.9% of the entire human population. It is a sobering statistic, and it really sets the stakes for why agriculture is absolutely critical to our survival.
And you know what's particularly striking? A massive chunk of those undernourished individuals, 381 million people to be exact, are located right here in Asia. So we aren't just talking about some distant global issue happening somewhere else. This is a critical, highly localized challenge sitting right in our own backyard.
Now, when we look closely at a specific national economy, like the Philippines, for example, a really striking economic paradox emerges. Get this. About 40% of Filipino workers are employed in agriculture. That is a massive portion of the workforce. Yet they contribute an average of only 20% to the country's GDP. It's like a giant puzzle, highlighting this immense, untapped potential in the sector, a potential that completely hinges on elevating operational efficiencies and, crucially, worker skills.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover the global food challenge, defining agriculture today, the Philippine farming landscape, why crop production matters, and finally, the skills of a farm worker.
Starting off with Section 1, the global food challenge, where we'll unpack the massive stakes of our food supply.
Moving right into Section 2, defining agriculture today. What exactly does farming entail?
Formally speaking, agriculture is defined as the cultivation of food and goods through farming and the systematic raising of useful plants and livestock under the management of man. Now, I want you to really focus on that last phrase, under the management of man. It's not just throwing seeds in the dirt, it's a highly managed, deliberate process. And that really hints at the incredible human skills required to make the whole system work.
And that managed process, it is incredibly diverse. It basically splits into 4 main branches: forestry, crop production, livestock farming, and aquaculture cultivation. We're talking about an expansive industry that literally touches nearly every natural resource we consume.
Okay, Section 3, the Philippine farming landscape, looking at local systems and major products. And this brilliantly illustrates how that broad definition translates into distinct, highly specialized local systems. You've got lowland irrigated farming producing rice and corn, rain-fed farming for coconuts and sugarcane, and upland farming for things like bananas, pineapples, and mangoes. It's a complex, beautifully orchestrated matrix that matches the exact crop to the specific environment.
But, stepping back from all the data and the systems, we inevitably hit human reality. Take the highly skilled, intensely physical task of harvesting bananas. These workers are the unsung heroes of the entire operation. All that high-level talk about GDP and global food security, it rests squarely on the shoulders of the individuals out there sweating in the fields.
Which brings us to Section 4, why crop production matters, both for the economy and its everyday impact. Crop production goes way, way beyond just putting a meal on your plate. It provides jobs for a huge chunk of the population. Beyond just supplying domestic food, it fuels massive commercial exports, generates essential raw materials, supplies livestock feed, and ultimately ensures the absolute bedrock of any nation, food security. But hey, it isn't just about massive commercial farms either. Backyard farming to raise vegetables and fruits is becoming increasingly commonplace. And I love this because it connects that macro-level global food chain directly to your own household, giving everyday individuals a direct hand in securing their own family's food supply. Finally, Section 5, skills of a farm worker, and the surprising expertise required to literally feed the world. So, the crucial point is, what does it actually take to farm at this level? If we're going to rely on these individuals to solve a global hunger crisis and bridge that massive GDP gap we talked about earlier, we absolutely have to recognize the true depth and technicality of their daily expertise. The sheer variety of their professional skill set is frankly staggering.
Modern farm workers have to master strict occupational health and safety procedures. They're constantly performing on-the-fly estimations and complex calculations right out in the field. They process farm wastes. They manage highly detailed record keeping. It's highly technical, incredibly demanding work that requires sharp minds and unwavering professionalism. So, the next time you sit down for a meal, ask yourself, how does your own steady food supply rely on the mastery of these unsung skills? We've gone from 690 million hungry people on a global scale, all the way down to the intricate daily calculations of a single worker. The roots of our food are deeply, deeply embedded in human dedication. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.
Grow with us. Subscribe.